Welcome back. Previous tutorial we discussed how to set up Firebase in Firebase application. So now we're gonna create the user using email and password, and along with it we're gonna log in the user with the same email and password we have signed up with, and also we're gonna logged in user with Google. So this is how our final application shall be looking. Okay, I'm in sign up now. Let's say hello user @gmail.com, and then the password would be password, and then I'm gonna sign up with it. And after sign up, the user will be redirected to the home page, and I'm gonna log out. So this is the sign up process, and whenever sign up is done, we can logged in with same user, hello user @gmail.com, and then password would be password, and then when sign in is clicked, the user will be sent to the same home screen. And let's log out again, and after that user can log in with Google also, and after success the user will be directed to the same home page you can see previously. So this is how our final application shall be behaving. So first thing first, let's add some packages into the popsec.yaml file. So we're gonna use these 5 packages in this process. One would be Flutter block for our state management, and then Google sign in for login with Google, and then email validator for validating email, and then Firebase auth for Firebase authentication to log in and the user using email and password. So these are the packages we are going to use in the authentication process. So after that, initializing the Firebase. So in the main method, I'm gonna paste the code, you can see, and then import Firebase core, and then Firebase options. So by doing this gonna initialize the Firebase in our application. The second step would be setting up the authentication block. So for setting the authentication block, I'm gonna create the new folder name blocks, and then inside blocks I'm gonna create the new folder again auth. So this auth block gonna hold all the authentication processes. So inside auth I'm gonna create the auth state dot, and then the event, and then the block. Also we're gonna need the repository. So inside repo I'm gonna create the new file named auth repo dot. So I have created the auth/block folder, and then inside auth I created the auth block event, and then state, and then repository folder inside the lib folder, and then inside the repository there is auth repo. So these are the files we just created. So first create the auth state. This auth state class is responsible for holding the state of authentication process. As in the code, there are loading, success, and failure states. These states ensure we know what is happening during the authentication process. This auth state is the base class for multiple states where the authentication process can happen at any time. All classes are the state. You can see these states are all class. So here you can see there are multiple states. One is loading. Loading state holds the information that the user authentication process is going on, and you can see there is authenticated. Authenticated state holds the information that the user authentication is successful, and the unauthenticated this holds the information that the user is not logged in. And then the auth error, it holds the information of the errors that occurred during the registration or login process. So now after all this state, so let's create the event file. So this auth event is responsible for the events that the auth block is going to perform. This sign in requested is triggered when the user requests to log into the account. It takes the two string, one is email and other is password. And this sign up requested, it gets triggered when the user tries to register in with email and password. And then Google sign in requested, when the user tries to log in with Google account, this event will get triggered. And when the user is going to log out from the system, this event will get triggered. So after creating state and the event, now let's go to the repo. What does this repository does is, it manages data transformation and separates data fetching from the business logic. As you can see here, there are multiple methods: sign in, sign up, sign in with Google, and sign out. And whenever the sign up method is triggered, we're gonna create user with email and password. So this method is going to create the new user with this email and password getting from this. And then the sign in, it is same as sign up, but you can see there is the method different. Here you can see create user with email and password, and you can see here sign in with email and password. So what does this method does is, the user created with this email and password, it checks whether the user is registered with the email and password we have sent from the text fields, and if it matches, we're gonna get logged in, otherwise it will throw the exception. Sign in with Google, this await Google sign in. What it does is, it initiates the Google sign in process using Google sign in package. It opens a Google sign in dialog to let the user select a Google account. So what it's going to do is, as you can see, when I press this button, this is going to open this dialog. So this is the task this method is doing. Now Google user dot authentication, it access the authentication data like access token and ID token for the signed in user. Now Google auth provider dot credential, it creates a Firebase authentication credential using the Google auth provider. This credential is required to sign in with Firebase using the Google account. This Firebase auth dot sign in with credential, it uses the Firebase authentication instances. This Firebase auth to sign in with the Google credential created earlier. You can see we have already created the credential here. This will authenticate the user with Firebase. And now this sign out method, we sign out both Google sign in and then Google sign in and then Firebase auth. So these are the methods we gonna perform in this block. I already have my auth block created. Okay, let's remove the error from here. Let's import block state also, and then repository, and we have here created the instance of auth repository that handles user authentication tasks like signing up and signing out. And whenever on sign up requested is triggered, it defines a handler for sign up requested event. When this event gets triggered, the block passes through the following states. It emits the loading states, and it defines that the authentication process is going on. And after that, you can see it creates the sign up method, you can see from the auth repo. So it tries to attempt to create a user with provided email and password from this event. And when the user creation is successful, from here we emit the authenticated state. If the user creation fails, we emit auth error and then unauthenticated state. So everything goes same like here you can see. So with this we have created the repo and the block of our authentication process. Now we're gonna create our UI, this sign up and then this sign in. First we're gonna create the sign up page. For that I would create the new folder inside the leave. Okay, I'm gonna name it screens and then create the new file named sign in underscore page dot for login page, and then the new sign up underscore page dot for sign up page. Also the new file named home screen dot. So whenever this sign in and sign up is successful, we would be redirecting the user to the home screen. So now let's create the sign up page. I will be creating the new stateful widget named home page, and then scaffold app bar of title that consists of text, let's say to do, and then style, text style, let's keep the color dot white. After that let's give the background color, and the color would be this. And then in the app bar, as you can see, okay, let's continue with Google. We are going to have this logout, that would be actions and would be icons dot logout outlined, and then the color would be colors dot white. Let's make it clickable and wrap with widget and then ink well. And there is parameter on tab. So this is going to be the home page. So now I'm gonna import the home page from here. And also sign in page. Let's create the sign in page here, and then let's import the home page. So in sign up also, okay, now the error is gone. Now let's get and describe to this sign up what is happening. So here we are creating the variables. One would be form key for our form validation, and other would be email controller to hold the data of the email text field. As you can see here, it will hold the data from this email text field, and password controller would take the data from this password. And whenever this screen is disposed, we are disposing these controllers. And scaffold is the screen of the application. You can see this is the scaffold, and then you can see app bar sign up. This sign up is coming from here, and then stream builder. So what it is listening is whenever the auth state changes. This means whenever the user is logged in or logged out, or whenever there is an error in this Firebase authentication, it would listen all the state changes that is going to happen during the Firebase authentication process. You can see here, when the snapshot has data, I am printing this email. And now block consumer, it listens to the block and the state, and we can perform the actions in response to this state. You can see here, if the state is authenticated, I'm gonna go to the home page, and whenever there is auth error, I would show the message in this scaffold. And when the user is unauthenticated, we're gonna see this whole form with these buttons. So I would not be describing all things. So you can see this form key, whenever I click sign up, you can see there is an error. Enter a valid email and enter minimum 6 characters. So this form key would help us to form validation. For that, you can see we have auto validate mode dot on user interaction. Whenever I try to write something, it will respond to it. You can see as I remove this, you can see enter a valid email. Whenever I complete it, you can see the error is gone. So this is its usage. So we have validator here. So what does this validator dot is? It validates the values that is coming from the text field. Whenever I empty it, you can see there is enter a valid email. So here I have this, whenever value is not equal null and email validator dot validate value. So I have this package used. You can see here I have this email validator. Let's go to the sign up page. Okay, it would say enter a valid email. Whenever the value is not validated, we are going to get this error message, and if not, we are not getting any. Let's say test@gmail.com, and here we are not seeing any error. So these are very important for form validation. And same for password. You can see here, when typing the password, I'm gonna hide this password. For that, I would give, there is a parameter name of secure text, and I would make it true. So what does it does is, whenever I type something on the password, it would hide it with dot dot dot. So in this demo project, I don't have of secure text is false. So you can see the text here. So then let's get down. Whenever this sign up button is clicked, this is the button you can see here. So whenever this sign up button is clicked, it is calling a method create account with email and password. You can see. So from here, if the form key that current state is valid, so what does it does is, it checks whether these text fields are validating the form or not, or we are getting the expected pattern of data or not. It validates. If it is validated, we are calling the block sign up requested. You can see from auth block, we are triggering this event sign up requested. You can see with the two parameters, email and password. So now whenever this button is triggered, we are calling this auth block, and whenever this event is triggered, it gonna go to the block and finds, you can see sign up requested is triggered, and then it will go through this process. It would get the sign up process and then emits different states according to the response from here. So now let's run our application. It is launching. So it is showing the same home page. Let's go to the main.dart file. You can see here we haven't refactored the code yet. So let's remove this. So I would paste some code here. And then import our repo homepage also, and then sign in also. Okay, so now we have the main function and then the my app. In my app, you can see the repository provider, and it will create the auth repository. It will listen to the auth state changes. Then inside it you can see multi-block provider. So it would wrap all the providers or block in this application. So I have this auth block. I have initialized this auth block here, and then I have material app with the title Flutter demo. It's okay, and then the theme, and then you can see stream builder. So it streams whenever the auth state changes in the Firebase, and whenever the snapshot at data, that means whenever the user is logged in, we are returning to the home page, else we are going to the sign in page. So this is the main.dart file. So now let's run it again. Okay, it is saying unable to load assets slash google.png. So we have assets file missing here. So I would go to the root project and then create a new folder assets, and then I would gonna paste this google.png here. You can see after that I would go to the popsec.yaml file, and then I'm gonna uncomment it and then make it assets slash. So what does it does is it access this assets and make all the files inside this assets available for us. So now let's run again. Okay, you can see we have all these, and whenever I click on sign up, I'm going to the sign up page. Okay, now let's try signing up. Let's say testing user@gmail.com. Okay, let's make it easier. Test@gmail.com, and then password. So this is done due to the of secure text true. Whenever I click on sign up, I'm going to the to do home screen. You can see, and whenever I press this, it is doing nothing. So now let's perform the logout process. So for that, you can see I'm going to go to the screen's home screen. So here, whenever this icon is pressed, I'm going to call the logout method. Context.read add, and we would add the event, and we are going to read the auth block, and the event would be sign out requested. Oops. It should be inside this add. Okay, so this event is going to get triggered from this auth block, and whenever auth block gets this event, you can see sign out requested, it will perform the sign out or logout process. Okay, now I'm gonna restart it again, and then sign up, and then let's make it password, and then sign up. You can see, and then when I click on it, nothing happens. Okay, let's see what is going on here. Okay, we have missed something. Now for that, we are going to our Firebase. Okay, let's go to the home page first, and then I'm gonna select my project. As you can see, these projects are already created. So I'm gonna find this authentication, and if it is not showing in your project, you can go to all products and then find authentication, and then sign in method, and here we need to provide this access. So we need to provide this email and password, save, and then again the new provider, login with Google, enable it, and then I'm gonna have the support email for the project, and then save. It's taking some time. You can see here it is after replacing your config files here, Google sign in for Android apps. So it is saying enabling Google sign in for the first time creates new auth clients which are automatically added to config files for your apps. Download and replace the configuration file in your app so that you can use Google sign in for your apps. Okay, so I'm gonna download this Google service info plist. Let's create it done, and then I'm gonna open it. Let's open with PS Code. Okay, so I have this Google service info playlist. I'm going to copy it, and then I would find iOS runner, and then you can see here I'm gonna replace it with this code. Okay, so now I'm gonna close it, and then for Android I would go to project overview, project settings, and then Android I would download it, open with PS Code. I would copy it, and then inside Android app you can see here Google services .json. I would select all, and then paste the updated Google services .json file. Okay, now let's run it again. I would log in with, let's say, test@gmail.com, and then password. You can see we are successfully logged in, and whenever I click it is not working. Okay, let's check it. We have missed the important part. You can see we haven't any auth block listened here, so this is not working. It is working, but it is not reflecting in our application. Whenever I restart it, you can see we are in the sign in page. It is working, but we haven't the auth block attached here, or we are not listening to the state of the auth, so this is not reflecting into our system. So now let's do that. Okay, for that I would create a body of text, let's say hello, and then I would wrap it with block listener. It would be auth block and auth state. Okay, let's auth state. So now if state is unauthenticated, whenever the state is unauthenticated or user logged out, I would be navigating to sign in screen. So what it is doing is, whenever the state in auth block changes, we are listening to unauthenticated. Whenever the user presses the sign out requested, you can see here, let's get to the auth block. Sign out requested, it is emitting the unauthenticated state, so we are listening this state from this home screen, and whenever the state is unauthenticated, we are returning to the sign in screen. Okay, now I'm going to restart it again, and then test@gmail.com, and the password would be password. You can see, and then whenever I press it here, and I am redirecting to the sign in page, and it is working. So now let's discuss the continue with Google. Let's go to the sign in page. So sign in page and sign up page are almost same. You can see everything is same. Okay, the password here is showing, so I would make it of secure text true, and let's reload it. You can see it is hiding. Every methods are same in is like sign up in sign in. Going down, only the difference is you can see authenticate with email and password. Whenever this sign in method is triggered, I have this method, we have this method that is calling sign in requested. This is the difference. In sign up it is calling sign up requested, in sign in it is calling sign in requested. Other things are the same. So whenever the user presses this continue with Google, so what is happening here, this is the button I am creating. So let's get to this method. You have this here, you can see inkwell, I have this image and the text which is giving this UI. So when it is created, I have this method authenticate with Google, which is calling the Google sign in requested from the auth block. You can see here Google sign in requested. So it will sign in with Google, and then it would be returning the authenticated state. So let's get back to the sign in the dot. Whenever the authenticated state is triggered, you can see we are going to the home page, else we are showing the error. Let's check the error. Whenever I click, okay, it is giving the error. I missed something here. Let's go to the info.plist iOS runner info.plist, and we have added the Google client ID or not. Okay, we haven't added the Google client ID here. Inside info.plist, add this code, and here you need to add your reverse client ID. Here you can find it in Google info.plist. You can see here you can find the reverse client ID. So you need to add this here. After adding the reverse client ID, I'm going to run this project again. Should be this. We have this application running. Whenever I click on it, you can see it is now working. I select the account, and then after login we are directed to the dashboard. So this is how we can sign up user using email and password, and login user with email and password, and login with Google in Flutter app in iOS. Similarly, you can do it in Android. Let's run on Android too. For that, I would start our emulator. It's taking some time, and I am running on this medium phone. Okay, now it is running. It is saying default config minimum STK 23. Okay, let's go to the app peel.gradle. Here you can see minimum STK. I would change this to 23. Okay, now let's run it again. It is running here. Okay, now click on here and then click on it. It is not working. It is saying platform exception. So this exception occurs whenever we don't add this SS1 key into the Firebase. So for that, let's get to the project and then go to Gradle signing report. Here you can see the SS1 key. I'm going to copy it and then go to the Firebase and then add the SS1 certificate here and click on save. Then after saving, I would go to this project again, and then whenever type it, okay, you can see the dialog opened here, and then the Google sign-in is working on Android too. Okay, now let's log in here. Okay, let's check sign up first. Let's say I am android@gmail.com, and then password would be, let's make it password, and then click on sign up, and then it is also working. I am android let's check sign in again, and then password, and it is working. So this is how we can implement Google login and login with email and password in Flutter. In next video tutorial, you gonna learn how to create the database Firestore in Firebase and then store data there according to the specific user. So this is all about user authentication in Flutter. In this tutorial, we explored building a user authentication flow in Flutter using Firebase for authentication, and then also the block state management for handling application state. We also learned how to set up Firebase in Firebase project, create blocks for authentication, and implement the authentication flow using block. So if you have any queries regarding this tutorial, you can ping me and comment or mail me at flutterjunction@gmail.com. Thank you, happy coding, and don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon.